Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I will be doing my 2018 NCAA tournament picks. This is right now what I have so far, but I warn you, I may change it later depending on the playing games tonight and tomorrow. I'll be doing analysis on all teams, and I may be stretching this into two videos as I only have 10 minutes on my software. Leave a comment below who you want to win and who are your final four and anything I missed. Last year I picked Gonzaga. Unfortunately, I just came up short, but this year's a new year, so let's get started. Uh, First matchup, we got Virginia versus UMBC. I like Virginia with our number one defense. I think that's going to be an easy pick. Creighton versus Kansas State. Creighton lost one of their best forwards in Martin Crumpelge, but Kansas State is also banged up with Dean Wade and Barry Brown, kind of iffy. Kansas State did beat TCU, but I like Creighton barely. They have Marcus Foster, a former player of Kansas State, and their offense is one of the best as they're number 10 in points per game this year, and I think Kansas State just doesn't have the offensive power to keep going with Creighton. Kentucky Davidson, a possible upset here. Kentucky has the youngest team in the nation right now, and they looked really well in the SEC tournament. So I'm going to pick Kentucky, even though I wouldn't be surprised if Davidson won that game. Arizona Buffalo. Buffalo's got to go all the way to Boise, Idaho to play against DeAndre Ayton and that stacked Arizona team. So with that, just because of that, I'm going to go with Arizona in this one. Miami Loyola Chicago. Miami lost Bruce Brown lately, so and that's their starting point guard. I'm not sure how well they're going to play without him. So I'm going to go with the senior-led team in Loyola Chicago upsetting Miami in that one. Tennessee Wright State. Tennessee's got the number 5 defense, and they looked really well in the SEC tournament. I'm going with Tennessee there. Nevada, Texas. This one is basically a coin flip. Texas is number 10 in the defensive efficiency, and Nevada's number 10 offensive efficiency. If you remember last year, I picked Marquette winning uh, against South Carolina, and that one came to haunt me. So right now, I've got Nevada, but Texas. The reason why I picked Nevada is because Texas did not look good in the Big 12 opener against Iowa State, and they were shooting a lot of threes and were not hitting them down, and they only barely won to Iowa State, who was 10th in the Big 12. So I may change that later, but that's right now I got Nevada. And I got Cincinnati. That one I don't need to explain much there. Villanova's going to win that game. Virginia Tech, Alabama. Alabama, even though with Colin Sexton in that SEC run knocking off Auburn and Texas A&M, I just can't get past Virginia Tech and their offense, and they're shooting really well from the three-point line. So I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. West Virginia, Murray State. Murray State has a really well-rounded team, and they play very fast. And what they're really used to the press defenses, especially like West Virginia. But I'm gonna edge West Virginia based on what they did in the Big 12 tournament, and they got to the final against Kansas. So I'm just gonna pick them there. Wichita State and Marshall. I don't think Marshall has the firepower to keep up with Wichita State and Greg Marshall. I'm gonna go with Wichita State. Florida and the playing game of St. Bonaventure and UCLA. This one I might change later depending on who wins this one. I believe St. Bonaventure will win tonight. But right now I got Florida in that one, even though I am not sold on Florida and their inconsistency. Texas Tech and Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin is a possible upset pick right here, as it is in Texas and not too far for both teams. But right now, with the better guard play, I got Texas Tech moving on. Arkansas and Butler. Arkansas has not looked really well on the road, especially away from the Bud Walton Arena. And Butler's shown really well in tournaments as of late. I'm going to go with Butler based on that. And I got Purdue. Kansas and Penn. Watch out for Penn this year. They're really high record for 16 seed. So this could be the year a 16 beats a 1, but not against Kansas. I don't think there'll be enough to stop the Jayhawks. Seton Hall versus NC State. I've got Seton Hall with the experienced team with Angel Delgado. NC State has beaten a lot of really good teams, especially Duke, but I just can't get past Seton Hall and their offensive game. Clemson and New Mexico State. Clemson has lost 5 of the last 8 games they've played, and New Mexico State is on a huge winning streak. I'm going to go with the upset here with New Mexico State knocking off Clemson in the first round here. Now, Auburn and Charleston, I want to pick Charleston so bad as I don't like Auburn this year at all, especially losing one of their best players as well. I'm going to go with, however, I don't feel confident in Charleston, so I'm going to go with Auburn. TCU and the winner of Arizona State and Syracuse. I believe Syracuse will win that planned game tomorrow, and I believe Syracuse will knock off TCU as TCU has struggled on the road this year. They're 3-7, and they've not had many quality wins in the last second half of the season. Michigan State Bucknell. Michigan State, really good team this year. I'm going with them. Rhode Island, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's lost 11 of the last 15 games, and even though they have Trae Young, one of the best players in the country, Rhode Island, I think, is just going to be a safer pick with consistency. And I got Duke. And now up to the West region, I got Xavier, and the next matchup between Missouri and Florida State. Missouri is just falling apart right now. Even though they got Michael Porter Jr. back, which everyone has been talking about lately, they just lost one of their key players, Jordan Barnett. So keep aware of that. Jordan Barnett is one of the key players of that Missouri squad. So I don't think that's going to keep them together enough. So I'm going to edge Florida State, even though I do not like Florida State that much as well. Ohio State and South Dakota State. Ohio State has one of the best guards in Bates Diop, and so does South Dakota State with Mike Dom. But I believe South Dakota State will probably get that upset right there, knocking off Ohio State. Gonzaga and UNC Greensboro. Gonzaga's got a really good team. I'm going Gonzaga. Houston, San Diego State. A lot of people are picking San Diego State for some reason, even though they won the Mountain West. But I like Houston. They played really well against Wichita State and Cincinnati these last 2 games, so I'm going with Houston. Michigan, Montana. Michigan beat Michigan State and Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. Really hot right now. Texas A&M, Providence. I'm going to go with Providence. They made it to the final in the Big East tournament, and Texas A&M has been really falling off the sky right now. So I don't think that Texas A&M will last long against Providence. And then I got UNC. So back to the round of 32. I don't think Creighton will have enough offensive power to stop the defensive power of Virginia. I'm going Virginia. Kentucky and Arizona. This one will be a really great matchup between Calipari and Sean Miller. But right now, I think the talent is with Arizona and DeAndre Ayton and Alonzo Trier. Loyola Chicago, Tennessee. Even though Tennessee's got the 5th-ranked defense, they're really young right now under Rick Barnes, and I like the senior-led team of Loyola Chicago, and I have them upsetting, making the Sweet 16 run. Nevada and Cincinnati. Whoever wins this Nevada-Texas matchup, I don't see it past going Cincinnati, the 2nd-ranked defense. Villanova, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech could upset Villanova with the offensive power, but I just like Villanova a little bit more. West Virginia, Wichita State. Wichita State does not have the defense they used to have, and West Virginia does, so I'm going to go with West Virginia. And I don't like Florida, like I said earlier. I think they're too inconsistent. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Butler, Purdue. Butler could upset Purdue right here, so watch out. But I think Purdue, I like the Edwards twins. I'm going to go with them. Kansas and Seton Hall. Seton Hall could beat Kansas. Kansas has been struggling in the tournament lately, but I like the Jayhawks here. New Mexico State, Auburn. I'm a little concerned about Auburn and their injuries as well as Clemson. That's why I think New Mexico State is going to take the upset right here, and I think they have the easiest route to get to the Sweet 16. Syracuse, who I have winning that one, against Michigan State. I like Michigan State this one, although Syracuse has done well with the lower seed, so watch out for Syracuse. Rhode Island and Duke. I think Duke's a really strong team, and Rhode Island, not so much. Xavier, Florida State. I have Xavier winning that one. Florida State, I'm just not really sold on this year. South Dakota State and Gonzaga. Unfortunately for Mike Dom, Gonzaga's going to end their route right there, and I think Gonzaga is one of the most kind of underrated teams this year. Houston, Michigan. I might change this later, but right now I've got Michigan winning that game just barely, but Houston, watch out for them. They're a really good team this year, and I might change that later. We'll see. And Providence and North Carolina, I could see Providence winning, but I like the defending champs North Carolina in that position. So that will end part 1 of this 2018 NCAA tournament picks. Stay tuned for part 2, and I'll see you in a little bit.